Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Ag Podcast, sponsored by the Halderman Companies. I'm Howard Halderman, and we are just super excited to welcome Emily Recker here with us today. Emily is a student at Purdue University, and we have been blessed to have her as part of our team this summer. She's been doing an internship with some of our Southern Indiana team because she's originally is from Du Bois County, Indiana, way down south for those of you that are up around Wabash where we are today recording this. And so Emily joined us, and she has been working on a variety of projects with Dave and Michael Bonnell out of our Columbus and Shelbyville offices, and Todd Litten out of our Bloomington office. And they've had her doing appraisals and cash rent studies and a variety of other things this summer. I know she joined us for one of our bigger auctions of the year, probably, 1,300 acres that we sold over in Wilmington, Ohio back in June. And so we've tried to give her a broad spectrum of what the Halderman Companies do this summer. And so just welcome today, Emily, and excited to have you on the team, but also to talk a little bit about your internship this year, what you've learned. But we'll start with, what are you doing at Purdue? What are you studying? And give us a little bit of a look into Emily Recker at Purdue University. And then what led you to Halderman and what was exciting about this opportunity?
Yeah, so to start off, I entered Purdue in fall of 2024 as an Ag Econ major, minoring in communications after kind of the deletion of the Ag Com department.
Yes, they have closed the Ag Communications degree program.
So since I have decided to minor in communications, with my major in agricultural economics really being where my passion falls. And so I've really just gotten super immersed in the College of Agriculture at Purdue. I've been really involved with the Agriculture Council as well as the Ag Econ Envoys program, where I get to be an ambassador for the Ag Econ department. And I am obviously super involved in other facets of campus as well. I'm really involved in the Purdue Cooperative System. I recently finished a term as Purdue Cooperative Council President. And
now, wait a minute, you were Cooperative President as a sophomore?
Yes.
Wow.
So as a freshman, I interviewed for the associate president position, got to shadow the past president who was a member of Gemini Cooperative, and stepped up as a sophomore in Glenwood to lead the cooperative system and a council of 16 individuals. So I was actually the youngest member on the council, which was kind of an interesting dynamic, but I think it worked out well. And it was kind of my best opportunity to take on that role as a sophomore, seeing as I am graduating in 3 years from Purdue. So I'll be wrapping up my time there in May of 2027, and I'm super excited to see where that leads me next. And so that kind of goes into how I got connected with Halderman's. Last summer as an intern with Farm Credit Mid-America, I learned a bit about appraisals and heard the Halderman name a time here or there, and reached out to some Purdue staff members who got me connected with you earlier last fall, got to meet more of the team at the Purdue College of Ag Career Fair, and eventually got to shadow a couple individuals and come back for the summer with y'all. So it's been great so far, and I look forward to getting to share a little bit more about my experience this summer.
And Emily's pretty humble here. I think you were named, the outstanding freshman and outstanding sophomore student in agricultural economics the last 2 years.
I was.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And obviously you can get just an idea. Some of the things we love about Emily, her sparkle, her energy, her willingness to do anything she's asked. In fact, drive for, 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was, over to Wilmington, because it was a unique opportunity to see a large sale like that. So
that was a really interesting opportunity, and it really gave me a good feel for what auctions are like. This might not be a time when we're seeing a lot of in-person auctions, but to be part of such a big auction for the company and to really be integrated and be given a real job that felt meaningful and not just like a paperweight as an intern really meant a lot to me.
Yeah, Emily was front door for us in the sense that she was registering the bidders as they came in the room that night. So Emily alluded to the fact that we don't do a lot of live auctions. About 80% of our auctions are online only. But we do have 20% that are live, and many of those are going to be these larger sales where you've got 5, 6, 7 tracks or more, in this case 16. So yeah, it was a great experience, and
really
I'm glad you came over. So that's one experience. But what's been the best experience so far? Because you still got a few weeks left. But what's been the best experience for you so far here at Halderman?
I would say that would be really hard to choose because I have been immersed into the company in so many different ways. I've gotten to shadow so many individuals. Just this morning, I spent the morning over in Peru with AJ Jordan and Emma Barr. I've spent time with Lauren Peacock. Next week, I'll be over in Ohio with Emily Wildermuth. And of course, just every week being with Todd and Dave and Michael, I get to see a lot of different things. I've been on a lot of different appraisal inspections, which every one brings its own unique interest, and they've really kind of started to turn me loose a little bit. And I've done a lot of learning, and now they're kind of allowing me to do a little bit more of the appraisal work, not on my own, but a little more independently.
Have they asked you to say, okay, Emily, what do you think this farm's worth? Not that you're writing it up, but have they asked you for...
They'll say, in this area, based on the comps that you've been helping us write, what are your thoughts? And I really like that they're actually taking that into consideration. And if, I'm not right on the ball, they're very good at talking me through it and saying, well, the market is a little different in this area, and these are the things that cause that. And it really helps me get a feel for multiple areas of southern Indiana, because working in the Columbus area versus the Bloomington area versus Jasper and DuBois County where I'm from, it makes a big difference in markets. So getting to learn not only about one specific area, but the land values and farm management, maybe issues or triumphs that we face throughout southern Indiana has been really interesting.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point. I've said many a time, there are a lot of, for lack of a better term, machines or a computer that can do evaluation of a property. And I'm sure many of you listening today are familiar with Zillow and those kind of tools where they can give you a value for your home. Homes, what they will tell you, I think the appraisers would say, is that homes in a subdivision that was built out largely at the same time, those can be extremely accurate with an artificial intelligent assisted appraisal process. Whereas with farms, every farm is unique, and you said that. Every property is a little bit different location, different road frontage, different makeup of cropland versus woods versus building sites. And so there is a nuance to appraisal that requires a lot of experience. And to get, we talked about this on our last, more recent podcast, was how hard it is to get your certified general appraiser's license. And so listen to that podcast for that information. But it takes a lot of effort, and there's a reason for that, because every property is unique. So you mentioned a little bit earlier, you're going to graduate in roughly 11 months.
Yeah.
10 months, something like that.
Coming up quick.
Are you thinking you want to do this long term, or what? Do you have any career thoughts at this point in time where you want to go?
I think I could definitely see myself in this field long term. I think it's really interesting to see how different people in the company get to kind of make it their own based on their strengths. Of course, you have some that are better in farm management, and that is really where their passion lies. And then you have some that really want to spend their time in appraisals and real estate. And it's been interesting to even see that between Dave and Michael, being a father-son duo. They really make a great team, because while both do appraisals, Michael likes appraisals a lot more and Dave likes farm management a little more. And so I've kind of gotten to dabble in both those areas, and then they're both actively doing real estate deals that I get to help out with and see offers coming in, and getting to even sometimes talk to customers that are calling into the office. And so it's just been really neat to see how you can kind of make it your own as someone in this industry. And I really love that I could take my passions in whatever way I feel best for me. And honestly, I've enjoyed doing every single part. I love farm management, getting to talk to clients, getting to build that long-term relationship. But I also love doing appraisals because of the challenge that every different farm brings. I'm definitely a people person, but I also love to engage the analytical side of my brain. And so I think appraisals just give me a great way to do that. And I could definitely see myself doing that long term.
So you can see why she was a communications major, now minor, but Really outstanding. So one of the things that we thought about as we put together this podcast was you've had a lot of experiences. You've been extremely active at Purdue. You've engaged with professors. You obviously got folks back in Jasper that you know well. Who's been the most influential person in your career? Not your parents, but outside of the family, who would be the most influential?
I would have to say my advisors at Purdue. I have built from day one a great relationship with everyone in the Ag Econ department at Purdue. Specifically, I had a great advisor whenever I came in as a freshman, Ben Hatfield. He actually no longer works in the Ag Econ department, but even though he wasn't super familiar with the ag industry coming into the position, he really listened, and he made it his goal to learn as much as he could, not only from his students, but from industry professionals, to help us find where we were called to and help us find companies to work for where we fit. And so that was just something that always encouraged me, seeing how driven he was to help his students and to help me as an individual and to really care about that. And so he has recently stepped away from the department to take a different position in a higher role with athletics, but I'm still so close with Andy Oppie and Leanne Williams in the Ag Econ office, and they both are just so great at being willing to sit down and talk to you. And if you aren't sure where to go next, they will get you connected with someone. And actually, it was Andy that I sat down with and said, hey, I'm maybe interested in appraisals, and I really want to get connected with someone, and I don't know who to go to. And he connected me with Dr. Todd Keithy, who I'm now doing research with next semester on land valuations. And Dr. Keithy connected me with you. And so people like that have just been great connections and have really been so implemental in my not only Purdue career, but in the development of my professional career.
And I think what you enjoyed about Ben Hatfield, and I heard the word help multiple times. And the slogan here at Halderman is Halderman can help.
Absolutely.
And honestly, what we do, whether we're selling a farm or managing a farm property or appraising it, is we're helping somebody. Maybe it's a difficult situation, maybe not, hopefully not. A lot of times it's a procedural thing. We had two people stop into the office today, and they needed an appraisal because they had to document the basis in the property for capital gains purposes. And so we help people. And I think you suggested that Ben and Andy and Leanne were people that you enjoyed because they helped you. And I think that servant heart and that servant leadership is something that we have as a mantra here at Halderman, and that I think will go a long way. I noticed this summer, and I'm looking on LinkedIn, and unrelated to Halderman, Emily Recker is posting about a new journal you're writing called the Heartland Harvest. So can you describe how that came about and what are you doing with it?
Yeah, so I've really just been looking for kind of a creative outlook for myself. I really enjoy talking to people, and I really wanted a way to stay connected with people away from campus and people that I meet in the industry that maybe I'm not reaching out to every day, but maybe I'm emailing them every couple months just to check in. I really wanted a way to stay connected with them more consistently and to share my story with others. And so I just think writing is such a great way to connect. I mean, of course, face-to-face interaction beats anything, but something that is handwritten and based on experience is just so valuable to me. And so I decided to get online and start what I'm calling the Heartland Harvest Journal. So it's just kind of a little blog, and some of my posts are more about industry and market updates, while some might be a little more personal. I know last week I talked about how I was driving up to Columbus and I got a flat tire, and it was the first time I've had a flat tire, so didn't quite know what to do. My parents were out of the country, and I was like, oh great. But of course, Dave and Michael, being the people that they are and truly living up to that servant leadership mindset that Halderman has throughout the company, stepped up, made sure I got it fixed, picked me up, took me back to get it, and really just were kind of a rock for me during that, even though I was stressed. I was like, how am I going to get to work?
Right.
What am I going to do? And they made sure that it, didn't impact my schedule, and I was still able to get done everything that I wanted to. And it just really meant a lot to have people that would support me like that, even when it's not a work-related activity by any means. And so just getting to share ideas and info in a way that is accessible to many people is important to me. And so I know not only my family has loved it, reading about some of the more personal stories that I tell, but I hope that people that I meet in the industry, and maybe not even in the ag industry, but just other professionals that I get to meet, can relate to some of it or can just enjoy reading it as a way to, keep up with all that I'm doing and all that's going on in my life. So obviously the posts will change a lot between now and when I'm back at Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope to share a little bit more soon about, the background that my family has had in agriculture and how I've grown up and grown into the person that I am today and why this is so important to me.
So last week I had the opportunity to do a podcast that'll be coming up with Zoe Kent.
Mm-hmm.
Is that somebody that you follow at all or are aware of what she does online?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just the way that she is really trying to grow people's knowledge of agriculture, but also kind of apply to human interest and tell stories that are really captivating is something that is really motivational to me. And I've always enjoyed following her. And so, not that that was the only reason that I started this journal, but seeing people like her taking that on is definitely something that encouraged me and gave me this little spark of an idea that I've now brought to life.
Yeah, I was really impressed with her and her family's foresight in
Mm-hmm.
how they've gone about their succession planning and how they've decided to transition this farm to the next generation. And I think if you are looking for a podcast on succession planning, that would be a good one to kind of hear her articulate how they've thought about it, how they accommodated for two siblings who are not involved in the farm operation. And then how she's kind of taken it on from her father, and then also the background from her grandparents, that succession planning wasn't all that well done,
Right.
and she learned a lot from that. So I encourage you to listen to that. What's the best piece of professional advice you've received?
Now, I told you earlier I had to write this one down because this one was too good that I didn't want to forget. I recently, well, not recently anymore, but last November attended my first Ag Futures of America conference out in Kansas City. And one of the professionals in industry that spoke to us told me something that really resonated with me. And it was, it's not about what I do, it's about who I become. And I think that being in a career that really prioritizes not only what you are doing, but the people who you are surrounding yourself with and the bond that you have with the people you meet is a career that I want to be in. And so that is something that has always stood out to me about Halderman's. From my first day on the job, I've seen it, how not only is this a family company between you and your sons and your father, but that family company aspect really runs deep throughout the company. Everyone is treated like family here. And I think that that's just correlates so strongly to the person that I want to be. And so it really just ties back to that idea that it's not about what I do, it's about who I want to become and about who I surround myself with. And so I think that has just really stuck with me throughout this internship, and I hope will stick with me throughout the future.
Well, I think that's really insightful. When I think back, I've done this 38 years, so I'm on the other end of the spectrum from Emily. But having done it for 38 years, the memories are never about the check we may have earned or what we did. It's more about not to put it in a way of becoming, but the impact we had on other people's lives. And I can still remember we did an auction one day, and the husband was in attendance at the auction, the seller, and we got the farm sold very well, and he signed the paperwork, and he said, now you need to go down to the hospital. My wife is working today, and she'll sign everything there. Sure, I'll take care of that. And I walked in, and she said, how did it go? And I told her the price, and she broke down crying, because that was an answered prayer to a financial stress situation that they had been undergoing. And those are the moments that I remember. I can't even tell you what the farm brought. I don't remember. I know what county it was in and all that, but those are the moments that you remember, and that's about that becoming. What is the person you become versus what we actually did that day. So I think that's great. Great summary. Anything else you want to cap off the internship with before we dive into some more fun topics?
I would just say that this whole experience has been really just kind of something that I think has set me in motion for the future. I mean, going into my senior year, it's always nice to have a pretty clear idea of what I want to do. And so this internship has really exposed me to a lot of new ideas and new challenges. But I've had a helping hand every step of the way, and it's been really nice to be part of such an amazing company. And so just props to you and to the legacy that your family has built here.
Well, thank you, Emily, and we've been super blessed to have you on the team. And I know you're skipping your junior year, right?
I am.
Kind of, sort of. You had to take the classes. It's not like you can actually skip a year.
Yeah.
But we just wish you the best with your senior year. Now,
Thank you.
You're going back to campus. So as we close out this, I've got some rapid fire questions for you. Purdue, any college, has a lot of traditions, right? What's your favorite Purdue tradition?
Well, I haven't walked under the bell tower yet, so I can't say that. I would like to graduate first. But other than that mysterious legend, probably Ag Week or Moonlight Pancake Breakfast.
Wow.
Those are, college of Ag specific a little bit, but Moonlight Pancake Breakfast is something that Ag Council runs, and I am not a late night person, but I'll stay up until 2 a.m. to flip pancakes at least one night a year for some of my favorite people on campus.
Those are ones I hadn't participated in. Now, to be fair, most of you listening are saying, well, Howard, you were there 40 years ago, and that's fair. So maybe things are different now. Now, I have season tickets to both Purdue basketball and football. Which do you favor?
Now, so I worked for Purdue Athletics in the communications department for a while. And so, for a while it was hard for me to really want to go unless I was working because I got a little tired of it. After spending 10 hours at a football game for a shift. So I would have to say basketball.
Basketball, yeah.
Basketball is a little more reasonable.
Yeah, my challenge is I love football. I've got two sons that play college football. But there is nothing like a night in Mackey Arena. And
absolutely.
That is a special environment. So eating is always part of a college student's life. There are more options today than there were when I was in school. So you're probably going to name some place I wouldn't name. But what's your favorite place to eat on campus?
Glenwood Cooperative.
All right. So you...
Free meals cooked for me. Why not?
True. Now, do you have a cook or do you ladies do it?
We cook our own meals.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So a home-cooked meal every day, 5 days a week.
Can't beat that.
Can't beat it. But if I had to go out, I would say Cafe Literato. Just off campus.
I have been there, and that is...
Amazing pizzas, salads, everything. So
that is good. That's a stop before a basketball game sometimes.
Highly recommend.
So you've taken classes in the College of Agriculture, and you've had to take a lot of classes outside of the College of Agriculture. Who's your favorite professor? Doesn't have to be College of Agriculture, although I was suspicion it will be.
It will be. She's actually no longer with Purdue, which I have to say I'm pretty sad about, but my favorite professor thus far has definitely been Leanne Moss. Leanne is actually really involved. She used to teach classes for the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers, and so she's just been a great mentor for me. She's taken time out of her day to sit down with me and talk about the career path and teach me a lot outside of class. And so while I enjoyed her class, it was really those sit-down conversations that have meant the most to me.
Yeah, Leanne is special. She's been extremely helpful with education at the national level for the American Society, largely on the appraisal side. I had the opportunity to speak to a couple of her classes while she was there at Purdue, and yeah, great resource. And her son graduated, I think.
Yes, he did. Well, so now she's headed back over to Illinois, headed home. Yeah. So very happy for her.
And you realize she's actually Canadian.
I did not.
Yeah. Leanne is originally from Canada.
I feel like I probably should have known that. Yeah. And maybe I did.
John's from Illinois. But anyway, you've had 2 years of experience at Purdue, and you don't know what the senior year is going to bring. But what's been your experience at Purdue, the one experience that really has impacted you as you think about your life going forward?
I would just say my overall involvement in the College of Agriculture. If I hadn't gotten so involved in the College of Agriculture, I don't think Purdue would feel nearly as homey and as small as it does today.
That's a really good point.
Being on such a big campus, it's kind of hard at first to find your people, but once you do, it makes campus feel like home. And it never feels like 50,000 people. It feels like the 10 who are my best friends, and I'm around them all the time. And they are those people that will stick with me long after college.
And that is a lesson I've tried to share with many high school seniors as they're contemplating what they want to do post-graduation. And, well, Purdue's too big. And I make the point with them, if you get involved, you're going to have a circle of friends that, as you said, 10, it might be...
It's far more, realistically.
I lived in a fraternity and had, 50 brothers, right? And but your community is so much smaller that, okay, there's 55,000 students there, but you really are never around them unless it's at and not all of them go to the football game. So it would take a big event like that to actually get the numbers. And so I would agree with you 100%. And the other thing I've said, as if there's any potential college students listening to this, is you think about your college career. Academics are obviously very important. The goal is graduation. And, there are those that say C's get degrees. Our goal at Halderman is to look at folks that may have a little better GPA than maybe a C average, but I like a well-rounded person too. I think 50% of your education is academics and 50% is the other stuff. And some of that, sure, is social. You're 18 to 22 years old. I fully expect that. You should be going to ball games. You should be enjoying dances and other but the activities that you can get involved with. I think you got to be in charge of the cooperative system. That's kind of being a mini CEO, is it not?
In a way, I mean, we are completely self-governed at Purdue University.
You have your own budget, right?
Yeah.
And you got the Dean of Students office overlooking you and making sure that you don't do anything willy-nilly.
And sometimes you get to work with Purdue's legal team and all kinds of fun things.
Yeah, you do. And I had the opportunity to be president of the Fraternity Council. So I have a little bit of experience of it, albeit, again, 40 years ago. But that activity side, I think, is extremely valuable.
Absolutely.
So.
And you meet a lot of great people that way. So.
You do. And the College of Agriculture, and again, I'm a Purdue homer. I know that, and you know that. But the College of Agriculture is a family. And it's been a tremendous resource for us at Halderman because we go to the career fair every fall. We obviously have some ties with the College of Agriculture that enable us to recruit folks like Emily to help us, and so it's really been a big benefit to us. To wrap this up, this is today's Ag Podcast from the Halderman Companies. Again, we like to talk about a lot of different topics. Today it was a little bit about appraisal, a little bit about farm management, but mostly about Emily's experience. And I really think she articulated very well what we try to do here at Halderman for our clients. And that is to earn their trust, their confidence, because we build relationships, and they're long-term relationships, and they're valued. So with that, I will sign off.